But like subtle things like that to happen, so you guys are just gonna have to help me keep an eye on the gear you're using. All right, red, orange, and yellow guy. Makes sense now? And my beard should be blue because it's much cooler than my face.
Okay.
Most people make the joke that I'm nearly headless Nick from Harry Potter. You guys got the joke, hopefully. But I also like to make the joke that me being the red, orange, and yellow guy in there means I'm the hottest thing inside the frame. It's going to work in my favor, obviously, because of who's standing in front of me. Bridal parties that slays, and I'll just put that out there. Like, they love that damn joke. But we're looking for the cold spots. They're going to be blue and black. So it's always in reference to whatever's inside the frame. So that's why my beard looks blue in there. But I also have this set up to where there's a blue dot bouncing around the screen. It's there to show you the coldest spot in the frame at that moment. So it's going to move all over the place. It's going to stop on windshields, metal signs that caught the wind. You guys are seeing the point. I'm looking for 15 plus degree temperature drops out of that. So we are, I want to say I wrote down 78 degrees. So I'll be looking for 63 degrees and colder when I'm spot checking this video. The blue and black spots, I want them to either take shape or to start moving on their own, because we're always going to have blue and black in there. And when I say take shape, I want a head, shoulders, moving arms and legs. That's what we've caught with this guy in the past. Hopefully that's what we'll capture again. I also love to give you stats of the equipment you're about to use, because I'm big on stats. I am not a TV show host. I'm not a YouTuber. I don't like to just get the ratings. You're already here. Let's capture real things. I capture about 4 to 5 pieces on this guy per year that I would put my stamp of approval on, that it's 110% paranormal. I have dozens of others that are maybe questionable things, but 4 to 5, per year, not per episode, is kind of the mentality I like to put in the back of your brains. So, Andy, you said you wanted to use this one, so I was going to go straight to you, dear. There we go.
There we go. Okay.
You should have a little bit of a timer going on there. And just so you know, the camera is right where your left hand is.
Yeah, so you want to
There you go.
put
You
your
got it.
Got it.
She's good. We got her. Just love the fact that the shortest person asked for that camera. So excited. I keep pointing that out. So this place used to be something, which is exactly why we're here. And it's actually one of the most haunted places I've ever had the pleasure of coming to. And I will never take this out of my route. It's not always active as far as like every single night, but I would say 95% of the time we will capture something out of this spot. So where are we? Oh, by the way, anybody with a communication device, this is where I start withholding information on purpose. I will not be giving you questions here like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there with the big red barn. You will get the answers from your communicators. Now, this used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney mansion. The mansion sat in the front of the space facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant and came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. That's the layout of the land. Did you hear something, or was it just what I said?
No, it went to 2.2 and then went down.
Okay, that's what you want. So if it hovers around the same, like 2.2, 2.6, it's usually coming from something man-made.
Okay.
So it might mean that your cell phone went off, or you know what I mean, something along those lines. But yeah, you're good. So the 2.2, you got excited. That's good. That's actually a really low number for this location. We'll talk about that as we move along. So who the heck were Charles and Eliza Pinckney? They had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Chucks, in case you weren't paying attention. That's why we look for secondary clues. In the event that the name Charles is heard, I'm hoping that somebody else is going to get a secondary clue, so I know how to address that specific Charles. Makes sense now why I always look for those double clues? It's not about one thing you got, it's about how do we collectively look at it. Moving on. The son and the nephew, signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. Big deal for us. I hate politics, especially this year. It's an election year, in case nobody knew that. Yeah, no, it was a joke, everybody. Everybody should know it's a damn election year.
No, we're right there with you.
Yeah, I'm tired of it.
I am too.
Just waiting for it to be over. I always hate election years. I'm not a fan. But moving on. So if I don't give the gentleman their recognition now, they will normally do it for me in a nasty manner coming through a spirit box. So I give them their recognition and we move on. We're going to talk about Eliza instead. Much better story and a bunch of women in front of me. You guys should actually appreciate this. Here's how it goes. Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say that slowly because if you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, don't expect numbers from the colonial days that she came from when young ladies got married at 12 or 14. Think of today's standards because the husband was over double her age. So it's kind of a creepy age gap back then, creepy age gap now. Just going to point that out in case you guys start getting numbers. Moving on. She married him because her father was over in England and he thought he was dying. He's trying to bring all of his kids home one last time so he can see him. And Eliza didn't believe he was dying. So instead she stayed put right here, got married. It is 1744. You do not get married in that year to earn a green card because we are not a country yet. So this is a true love story. There is nothing horrific about this location. I say that slowly on purpose because this is a place of respect. You'll see that as we move along. Now, She was correct. Dad did not die right away, and instead, Dad is now sending gifts from England right to where you're standing. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. That's a plant that makes blue dye. It makes your blue jeans blue. Some of you are wearing indigo right now, and that's how it all started. Now, when she got those seeds, she had no idea what to do with them. She had to learn from her servants how to keep it going. It's not always hot here. Then actually learned how to make the dye from them, moved it to a cash crop, and then got a hold of father overseas and told him that the rice plantations were going downhill. We're going to make a killing with the indigo. And now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times, before we're even a country. Something absolutely unheard of. So that's the boring business stuff of Eliza. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys showed up. So what's going to happen here, and I don't know what's going on with this car. I don't know if they're just chilling or what. But the way we came in here is the only entrance and exit for the lot, so just be mindful of that. But with the communicators, I'm going to give you guys like focus questions. You can say these things out loud, or you can just focus on it. We're here every night. Eliza knows what the hell you're going to ask. 3 little rules if you go rogue and ask your own questions. Be respectful. No yes, no questions. Do not ask her about her children. I will explain before we leave the space. So once I pass out the questions, we'll disperse a little bit. I'll do a few round robins with a group this size and then regroup us to show you how it all fits together if we have anything at all. And then I'll obviously give you all of the answers that I look for when I get back to the office. So we're actually going to go with Kaylee and Nikki's first because they're going to hopefully work in tandem. What do you got?
They just went up to like 3. Oh my gosh, it's 6.1 right now.
Okay, that's good. See, this is where I started writing shit down. Sorry, is my language bothering anybody?
No. We have the mouths of a sailor. It's like it's like jumping around.
You had a 3.1 and then a 6.9?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Now you're going to escalate it. Don't give me anything below a 6.9.
Okay.
See how that works? I don't want to write down a million numbers, and you guys don't want that in your report either.
Okay.
It takes me forever to type them all out. So, how do you want to do this, Tony? This is a weird setup. So the two of you are going to focus on the mansion. It's not here anymore, so hopefully we can get something out of this where you guys can ask what happened to the mansion, and the answer will show up. If you get the what, we will often get the when, the exact date of when this occurred, at least 2 out of the 3 numbers. So it happens quite often, and they're very specific numbers. It's not like 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of stuff. So your device will give us numbers as well, but you can also look for Eliza's full initials of ELP in that order. We did get them here about 2 weeks ago. As soon as I said it, it was I couldn't have asked for a better response. So the ELP, and obviously if you want to focus on what happened to the mansion. So Jenna, your questions are usually the major focus based on what type of spirit box you have, because that is a staple for me as well. I always use that spirit box. You're going to focus on Eliza's death. She's open about talking about it. So a couple of major questions we get answers to. Age at time of death, what she died from, where she's buried, which president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So age, how, where, president. So 4 majors. Again, if you guys go rogue with your questions, just be respectful. That's the biggest thing at this space. Good, that car left. We are going to disperse. Stay away from the vehicles. We only have 4 left. We got plenty of room on a Friday night. We should be blessed and feel that way. So Annie, you're already recording, which is super great. So just walk slowly. That's the only thing with that camera. Like move it nice and slow. Have you heard anything else? When you had that spike on the device from your left hand, did you hear anything different on your right hand?
I don't think so. We were talking.
It's okay. So I'll let you be and start listening. 6.9 is the new base. All right.
What's
last
that?
one. Eliza.
Eliza.
Last couple of words you guys want to say.
Is there somebody there? This is strange. Savannah. Come here. Let me get it back.
Remember that the left side's what's recording,
I know.
so people will be right.
What I had. Look, let. Oh, come on. See how the dark? It was looking like it was moving.
Try to keep it up. Like up with your arms. Whoa! I just got an 8.3.
Any weird sounds with that?
I hear a little bit of sagging, yeah.
Okay.
I keep coming up to that one spot. Right here. Come here. Oh, come on, come on. Come on, hold on. Oh, shoot. Come on.
And just hold it still.
I was getting the whole. See how it gets that black? But
It's
it was.
probably the floor.
But it looked like it was swimming.
Oh my gosh, just
It
keep it
did-
up. You're like facing the floor. You gotta face it up. You gotta record upward. Like that. That's perfect.
All right. What are you hearing now?
Upward, not down.
You see that black? It comes up. It shows up. And then
And
you
move around.
right there. See that? You see that?
It's the same thing. So she's going to pick up whatever she can. That's why I say it's not a direct answer to the question. It could just pop up. I see traffic every day. So, yeah, I'm hoping that we're going to get much higher yield out of this. Absolutely.
So, you said what were the questions? How?
Age. How? Where? Present.
Is this anything? Nick? Oh. Oh, shoot.
What do we
Okay.
have, darling?
Okay. That black keeps coming back.
So the black is because the ground is cooler than the wall. Do you see the wall is holding on to the sun's heat, but this is still wet. So anything with water is always going to be cooler. So I'm sure you're going to notice like the little pools that we have here are going to be way colder because you still have the wall in view. So if you point it downwards a little bit more, it'll probably change the temperature, and that's going to change color again. It's going to be based off of whatever is in there. Yes.
This is the meeting spot?
No.
Stand before.
No, I'm a whole different, like, you're probably looking for Bulldog.
You stay at Thrive, don't you? Do you work at Thrive?
Yeah, I do.
I'm Jordan. I'm
Yes,
the community manager.
gotcha.
I was gonna say
Are you guys going to Bulldog?
we are doing something else tonight,
Oh.
but I was funny enough. I was telling him about you.
You're going to go down one block and make a right.
All right, thank you.
So, and internet was fine the other night, by the way.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Good to hear. It didn't hit us like I thought it was gonna, but they gave me the 2 days off, so I took it.
Yeah.
Is it a mess in there?
There's no snacks. Somebody brought out all crackers, but that's about it. Somebody was there today. I don't know who.
I'll see you later.
But yeah, text me next time you want to actually do
I
something.
do. I might in October if you've got any opening.
There are tickets.
Okay.
All right.
So just hold it towards the ground.
No, I was just kind of
Oh.
doing the point. Usually when
Yeah.
I'm looking at this video and I'm spot checking it, I'm actually looking for blue things going across the orange because this is going to be hard to find a ghost in this mess. So if I have a blue figure that's against that, obviously very warm building across the street, then it's much easier to find.
Got
Yeah,
it.
you want to keep something warm in frame.
Okay. Got it.
Really?
Every day. That's what I love about it. I can't say stand here, you're going to get a 50. I have no idea where those numbers are going to pop up. That's why I say just wander around a little bit. I'm kind of giving Jenna one more minute to listen in since nobody's talking.
So if I asked her a question, could she say it on Jenna's or Kaylee's end?
Anybody's
basically?
device. It can show up on the audio from Nana's camera, my voice recorder. We don't know.
Wow.
That's the fun part about this. We don't know where it's going to land. So I love using so many devices all at once. It's super cool to watch that thing, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Learn a lot about thermodynamics and how the sun works, and the different science laws. I geek out on this stuff all the time. All right, everybody. I say we wrap this one up. Let's see what else we got. We're gonna go right back to where we started. Yep.
Turn
Hit
it
your
up.
stop button. Let's go.
It's kind of all like out. There's lots of like.
Any words being spelled out for us?
No, I don't know if I turned it too much.
We want to turn it, all the way up in here. Yeah, so we're going to crank back up again in here. So we got a nice fresh start. What words do we have?
Penny in the face. Really
We're joking around.
Back when you said that, shortly you said that after.
That's funny.
I know.
The 28 is odd. I do love the 7 because that is something we commonly get here. So Savannah kind of informed me along the way here that it looks like as a family you guys lost a few members over the past couple of years. I don't want you to tell me anything about those folks that you lost. When I'm going through your media, if I hear something weird that normally wouldn't come out of a radio station, that's what goes in your notes. So sometimes those things are relevant to you guys and your lost loved ones. So I don't want to be biased towards looking for those things. Does that make sense? I don't want to know names, occupations, relationships, any of it. Because again, you guys, I answer texts and emails all the time. And that's usually because something personal came up and about. So I don't always put that in the notes, like, hey, this was this person's great-great-grandmother. I'll just put like this was a family relation due to one of the members. I'll go back to it and add to it. So it happens all the time. But let's talk about why we're here. And man, that dude was sweaty up there. Good lord. Yeah, I would tap his shoulder so he knew to kind of like get out of her way. Like his whole back was. Dude.
humid out here.
Yeah, it is bad. In this place, I usually breeze through it because this will be our warmest spot. That's why another reason why I say we're just gonna stir shit up and go. Every ghost tour comes down here. Literally every one. There's like 330 ghost tours in Charleston. We all come down here. I was gonna take this out of my route several times because I do change up my route every year. But this guy follows me around, so I was like, you might as well just start with his origin story. He's another one that's gonna live on my route forever. But here's
Why is that?
because this guy's story has been told for like 40 to 50 years, and I'm the first person to come along where we can actually hear him talk back. So the number 7, by the way, shows up here, I would say at least 4 out of 7 nights a week, and it normally shows up in doubles. The reason why is because his birthday was July 7th, 7/7. So we're going to talk about this guy quite a bit, and you'll see some of the clues that'll pop up
So
around him.
it's a ghost that follows you.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant
Oh, that guy?
somebody lied.
No. The dead guy follows me around.
Oh, okay.
That's the reason why every tour comes down here.
Well, it took me a
It's a
minute.
legitimate question.
She's a character. Look at this man.
Thank
Oh gosh.
I handled that well. Take it.
you. It didn't catch on for when you were saying he'd been following you.
Well, I talk fast too, so and I get that. I'm not from here. So I'm originally from Ohio.
We're from California.
Yeah, that's what they were.
We were. Thank God we're out of there.
Yeah, don't ever visit Ohio. There's nobody left. We all moved here. I swear. I
Yeah, it's
can't.
happening there too.
Yeah, I'm sure. So, here's how this story goes. We all tell the same damn story. I'm just going to give you a few extra details because you're ghost hunting. You're not on a campfire and marshmallow cheesy ghost story like everybody else. Doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. You're going to be looking for the initials RI. So, doctor's name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. So I say his name slowly because if the song Brown Eyed Girl shows up for you, Jenna, it's not coincidence. We get it here all the time. Just like the 7s, all the time. It's part of his name. But anyway, Dr. Ladd moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancee, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a lot of money from her dead parents, and she has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash flow. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. So he comes down here to Charleston to prove that he's not. And we're going to have like a group of ladies trying to walk past us, so we're in a good view when they actually have enough space. So on his way into town, though, he had a coachman that set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to his stay here. So, yeah, exactly. It was like having a really bad Uber driver in today's world for the younger group that doesn't know what the hell a coachman is. Seems like you guys are all pretty intelligent. So, I normally have to explain this stuff when I have the younger kids on the tour. So sorry if I, insult somebody's intelligence. So, anyway, somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen to the newcomer coming into town, and the gentleman walking by, his name was Ralph Isaacs. Do those initials sound familiar? Yeah, we are getting RI on regular spirit boxes. That's the reason why we have this device. I wanted to verify it at this location. We've had it about, I would say, 6 to 7 times in the past year that I've had it. So, so take that for what it's worth.
You had IR.
And we get that a lot too. I normally say I want it in order when it comes to initials, but I can't ignore the patterns that he's trying to come through. So interesting piece. But anyway, so Ralph tells the newcomer, Dr. Ladd, he says, dude, I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. We're going to go to 59 Church Street, and you can rent a room from these friends of mine, and you'll be safe and good to go. Well, the doc took him up on the offer, and the gentleman became friends. The longer he stays here in Charleston, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He's not after Amanda's money. He's making his own. Well, she got wind of this, and she's moving down, and Dr. Ladd then became known as the Whistling Doctor, because he's a pretty happy guy. This is the reason I hate the damn story and why I wanted to take it out. Every haunted city you will ever visit is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. This one just happens to be a doctor. Moving on. So why are we in this location specifically? This is Philadelphia Alley. What does it say?
Ask us. Nothing? Nah.
But this used to be known as Dueler's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So let's get into that portion. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He gets better seats. So they go see a play one night and they're walking home discussing the new actress they just saw, and Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph didn't. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiance back home in Rhode Island, and it got really ugly. They go their separate ways, but Ralph goes to his friends at the newspaper, and he places an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of bullshit. And Doc saw the ad and rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. Somebody's gonna die. Right? All this over an actress, because that's how the argument started. Shit was dumb back in the 1700s. But anyway, the two gentlemen came down here for their duel, back to back. They take their 10 paces, they turn. Doc pointed his gun in the air and shot his one shot. He didn't want to kill his friend, just needed the courage to show up. But Ralph has his one bullet, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Doc didn't die. His friends picked him up and took him home to 59 Church Street. He died 10 days later, November 2nd of 1786, after refusing medical treatment. Two things about the last statement I just said. 1786. Gunshot wounds are a lot different back then than what we know of them now. Secondly, he's a doctor, guys. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself. But he failed, right? So he died, because that was the whole point.
You can spell 6, but they spelled it wrong. I was trying to spell 6.
What did it spell out?
S-I-S-X. S-I-S-X.
No, I see it like S-I-S-X, like 6. When you said 19.
Yeah, the 6 is... We're going to see if something else pops up with that. I'm not going to write it down yet until I have another clue, because where we're going next, it's literally a story literally on the other side of this wall, but we have to go up and around to be able to have access to it. But that ghost is actually relevant. We're closer to her now than we will be when we go around the corner, but we don't have a visual effect. So I'm not surprised by that. But anyway, so keep in mind, if you guys are going to try this on your own, I don't know how long you're going to stay in town and you walk all the way through here. This is a place I've been kicked out of, so let's get into that. But turn on your voice recorders from your phone and listen for those whistles. Just remember, every local knows the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street, we all throw a whistle down this alley. It's just something to do here. But how I got kicked out of here. I don't normally do this when we have such a tour so close, but this alley didn't go all the way through the way we came in. There used to be a wall up there, and the reason why is because this was called Cow Alley. This is where they kept the livestock in the city of Charleston. We're going back before it was Dueler's Alley, so we're going further back in time. So cows, goats, and chickens are down here, and they started down by Queen Street and worked their way this way, slowly over the years. Now, that means those bricks down on the other side are older than the ones you're standing on. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child on there, fingerprint swipes and others. And I used to take my groups down there for a history lesson. There's nothing paranormal about that brain. He's not staring at it in the afterlife. We've already talked about this with Eliza. Right? So I take my group down there for their history lesson, but they all stop. And they're huddled around that damn brick waiting for something to happen. It's November 26th of 2020. And I was getting a little nervous because I know nothing's going to happen, but we're also standing outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the hour. I was just trying to be respectful. I didn't realize we were out of bounds for tours. We're still new at this. So the new owner of that mansion came out screaming. My daughter was on the tour that night, and she thought it was hysterical that Dad was getting yelled at. She was all about it. Yeah, so the next day, we just moved on. Like, we got away from him and just did the rest of the tour, and that was the end of it. Now, the next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on holidays because I worked in upper management for Walmart before I started doing this, and you guys fight over towels on Thanksgiving. You scarred me for life. I don't do holidays anymore. I have my own business. I don't need to do it. So the next day, I called my partner that brought me into tourism, and I told him what happened so I could try to figure out what to do next. Well, he laughed at me when I told him about it because he already got the complaint. And he knew about it already. He basically said, dude, you're only allowed to go down halfway, which is why I stopped here. We're not even going to hit that halfway mark. And you're going to have to rewrite your group tonight. Well, it's November 28th, 2020. I told him, and it's Black Friday. So I told my group, I don't believe in the next story because I've never had anything happen over there with all my gear. And I'm into vampires, not pirates. I would normally tell you a pirate story next, but I'm going to take that out of there too. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be discussing. Anne Bonny, female pirate. So I got a little excited. I took them around the corner. I told them what I knew about piracy. Remember, not a whole lot of time to research. And somebody else heard the number 300 on a different spirit box. So I wrote it down because I don't know what it is. And I go back and do the research. We were there on November 28th of 2020. We did the research. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 17. We were there on the exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial. Now, that's not another reaction I get into this. I was actually pissed off. Let me explain. I have a master's degree in creative writing, and all of my bachelor's degrees are in other types of writing. So that means I like facts and data. Pirate stories come from pirate lore, if you know anything about pirates. The pirate lore is written 100 years after the golden age of piracy, the days of Blackbeard and Anne Bonny. So 100 years later, how accurate is that information? So whenever you guys were finding things over there, I was reading a ton of books, watching a lot of documentaries, and playing a lot of video games just to verify one small piece of evidence and see where the commonalities were. I hate to say, like, I'm kind of glad I don't have to tell that story anymore because I got into it, but at the same time, it is a lot of research when I don't know what the answer is to the questions you guys were asking. So I love the story that I built up for it because I learned a shit ton about pirates. I was all about it. But what we're going to be doing next, when we get up and around the corner, I'm going to have you just stay on record and just keep you running the whole time. But we're going to swap out Annie's camera because we're going to be dealing with an apparition. So we need a different type of camera for that.
Okay.
So once we get up and around the corner, and I'm just going to point out one thing. My grandmother's name was Annie, and she was quite the character as well.
Well, mine is Anne. It's A-N-N-E, but my middle initial is E, but I've always gone by Annie.
Got it. But she spelled it out like the traditional Annie.